Hey y'all, thanks for tuning in to Outdoor and Door Texan. Today I'm going to be showing y'all my recipe for crab stuffed venison backstrap. This is an excellent surf and turf dish with a little bit of wild game twist. It's super easy to throw together and always a crowd pleaser since it's a little something different than the usual grilled backstrap, which is also delicious, don't get me wrong. First up, we're going to work on making the crab stuffing. Place about 8 ounces of crab meat in a large mixing bowl. I'm working with blue crab claw meat, but just about any crab meat you prefer will work fine. Add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, half a teaspoon of lemon zest, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of celery salt, half a teaspoon of paprika. I'm using smoked paprika because I like the smoke flavor, and half a teaspoon of black pepper and half a teaspoon of kosher salt. Add 1 to 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, Duke's if you have it, and give everything a nice stir. If you're working with cooked crab meat, make sure to taste the stuffing to be sure you're happy with where you're at. If anything's missing, feel free to tweak. After tasting mine, I decided to add a kick of Musket Powder Gold Label just to round everything out. It's an excellent seasoning that blends a coffee-based rub with that sweet heat of honey chipotle. If you haven't heard of Musket Powder's various seasonings, make sure to click the link below in my description that'll take you to their website. Also, use the code TEXAN10 for 10% off any purchases. Once you're happy with your stuffing, cover the bowl and let it sit in the fridge for at least 1 hour up to overnight before using it. Now we're going to prep our backstrap. This recipe calls for about 1 to 1.5 pounds of venison backstrap. I'm working with 1 pound in this video, and it easily filled both my wife and I for dinner. First step in prep, take a sharp knife and butterfly your backstrap open. For those who haven't done this before, you simply take the knife and carefully cut into the center of your backstrap until you're about 1/4 of an inch away from splitting it completely in two. It should then open up nicely and be ready for crab stuffing. Once your meat is butterflied, simply start filling the centers with your crab mix, but make sure the pieces can still close nicely without too much spilling out. After stuffing, take some butcher twine or string and place a few loops around the meat so everything stays in place. Now to get the cooking started, sear each piece in a medium-high heat pan for about 30 seconds or so aside. Once everything has a nice sear, toss in a half stick of butter and either finish cooking the backstrap on your stovetop if they're super thin, or transfer the whole pan into a preheated oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit to finish there. This go around I used the oven, and although times vary depending on thickness and a bunch of other variables, I flipped the meat at 5 minutes and I pulled it out after 10. Whichever way you finish it, watch your internal temp really closely. Deer meat, since it's lean, gets considerably tough once it goes above that medium mark. As a rule of thumb, I usually pull my venison off at about 130 degrees Fahrenheit and then let it rest for about 5 minutes before cutting into it. This typically gets the internal temp to somewhere between rare and medium rare, which is perfect for a tender bite. Once the venison hits your target temp and you let them rest for a bit, all you're left to do is sprinkle them with finishing salt and carve, serve, and enjoy. Now, to be completely transparent, somewhere along the way in between trying to cook these perfectly while also trying to film this recipe perfectly, I let the venison sit a couple minutes too long in the oven. So, your finished meat should be a bit pinker than mine, as this batch clearly snuck up into that medium done level. That being said, tasting this dish, they were still excellent. It's a wonderful blend of that crab meat seafood flavor, hints of smoky paprika and honey chipotle musket powder, all finished off by that familiar taste of good old venison. If you're a well-seasoned hunter looking for something different than the usual salt, pepper, sear for deer meat, or even if you're a guy whose neighbor showed up out of nowhere with a backstrap that you have no idea what to do with, this recipe will work wonders. It doesn't mask the taste of venison, rather it adds an excellent new layer of complex flavors that in my experience always is enjoyed by whomever we're serving. Well, that's all for this one, and thank y'all so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or anything else to add, because we all know that every salty old hunter has his own special way of cooking backstrap, and I'm more than happy to hear you out. I'm always up for talking recipes and helping others on their journey for discovering new food. If you like what you see, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more great content to come. All right, y'all, take care.